Hello everyone, and welcome back to Echoes of Covenant. Today, we're venturing into the captivating world of the book and the life of Daniel. Get ready to be inspired, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Sit back and relax, and let us dive into Prophet Daniel's story. The book of Daniel emerges from this tumultuous period, a testament to the unwavering spirit of faith. In exile, Daniel's faith was tested and refined, proving God's constant presence and power. These narratives are timeless echoes of faith, courage, and God's faithfulness. We'll uncover profound themes in Daniel's extraordinary experiences. Witness Daniel's unwavering commitment to God's laws amidst Babylonian pressures. Delve into Daniel's prophetic dreams and visions, revealing God's ultimate plan. These stories remind us of God's sovereignty over every earthly power. They challenge us to confront our fears and stand firm in our convictions. Our journey begins with the Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem, a pivotal moment in biblical history. The kingdom of Judah lay in ruins, its people scattered. Among the captives were 4 young men from Judah: Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. They were of noble birth, gifted with intelligence, wisdom, and faith. Uprooted and stripped of their identity, they faced a world determined to erase their faith. Given new Babylonian names, they were molded into servants of the empire. Surrounded by luxury, they faced a test that would challenge their faith. The king's decree to partake in royal delicacies symbolized acceptance into Babylonian life. To partake would mean compromising their beliefs and violating God's dietary laws. For Daniel and his friends, their faith was the foundation of their being. True allegiance to God meant obedience to his laws, even under a powerful king. Daniel, guided by the Spirit of God, requested a diet of vegetables and water instead of the king's food and wine. Daniel said,
"Test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat the royal food."
This request came from a deep reverence for God and a commitment to remain undefiled by Babylonian practices. Remarkably, Daniel and his companions appeared healthier and more robust than those who partook of the royal delicacies. The chief official, witnessing this transformation, was amazed by the power of their faith. As Daniel and his friends navigated their new lives in Babylon, remaining faithful to God amidst a culture steeped in idolatry, King Nebuchadnezzar, ruler of the most powerful empire, was troubled by a vivid, unsettling dream. Surrounded by advisors who claimed to interpret the heavens, he found no answers. Nebuchadnezzar demanded his wise men recount and interpret the dream, but they were stumped, unable to interpret what the king couldn't recall. Furious, the king decreed all wise men in Babylon be executed, including Daniel and his friends. When Daniel learned of the decree, he didn't panic or despair. Instead, he turned to the one true source of wisdom and power: God. With unwavering faith, he sought divine intervention. He asked the king for time, assuring him he could interpret the dream. That night, as Daniel and his friends prayed, a remarkable thing happened. God answered their prayers. The dream was revealed to Daniel by divine revelation. The next morning, Daniel approached the king with confidence. As Daniel spoke, a hushed silence fell over the court. The king listened intently, his anxiety replaced by awe.
"O king, you saw a colossal statue, dazzling and terrifying. The statue had a head of fine gold, its chest and arms were of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. Then a rock, cut out not by human hands, struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay, smashing them. The iron, clay, bronze, silver, and gold were broken to pieces and became like chaff on a threshing floor in the summer. The wind swept them away without leaving a trace. But the rock that struck the statue became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth."
What does this mean, Daniel?
The statue represents a succession of kingdoms. These kingdoms will rise and fall. You are this head of gold, you are a great king. The God of heaven has given you sovereignty, power, strength, and glory. He has placed all people, animals, and birds under your control, making you the ruler of them all. You are the head of gold. But after your kingdom, another kingdom, though inferior to yours, will arise. The chest and arm of silver is the second kingdom. It represents an inferior kingdom that will rise after Babylon. The belly and thighs of bronze is a third kingdom that will come and rule over the whole earth. The legs of iron is a fourth kingdom. This kingdom would be strong as iron, breaking and crushing everything. The feet and toes of iron mixed with clay is a kingdom that would be partly strong and partly brittle. A divided kingdom that would not hold together. The rock cut out not by human hands struck the statue, smashing it to pieces. The rock became a huge mountain and filled the whole earth. This is God's eternal kingdom that will crush all other kingdoms and endure forever. The stone that became a mountain represents the kingdom of God, destined to endure forever.
From the ashes of empires, God's kingdom would rise, everlasting. Despite witnessing the power of Daniel's God, Nebuchadnezzar's heart remained troubled. The prophecy of a greater kingdom lingered in his mind like a shadow. To assert his dominance, he conceived a plan to test the loyalty of his subjects. He ordered the construction of a massive golden image to inspire awe and demand obedience. It towered over the plains of Dura, a testament to human vanity. Nebuchadnezzar issued a decree, striking fear into many hearts. At the sound of music, everyone was to bow down and worship the golden image. The message was clear. This was a test of loyalty and authority. To refuse was a direct challenge to his power, punishable by death. The furnace, a symbol of creation and destruction, was prepared. Those who defied the decree would be thrown into its fiery depths. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to compromise their beliefs. They chose to honor God's laws, even at the risk of their lives. As the music swelled, the crowd before the golden image began to bow. Nobles and commoners alike prostrated themselves, their voices blending in forced adoration. The air crackled with fear and blind obedience. Yet amidst the sea of bowing figures, three remained standing. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to betray their faith. Their eyes were fixed on the heavens, the source of true power. All eyes turned to the three young men who dared to defy the king's command. Nebuchadnezzar, enraged by the defiance of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, demanded their presence.
"Is it true you refuse to bow down and worship the image I have set up?" They answered.
Our God can deliver us from the fiery furnace.
Nebuchadnezzar ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter and had the men thrown in. The 3 men walked unharmed in the fire. A fourth figure, radiant and awe-inspiring, stood among them and protected them from the heated furnace. Nebuchadnezzar asked,
"Didn't we throw 3 men bound into the fire?"
Certainly, O king.
Nebuchadnezzar shouted.
"Look, I see 4 men, loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come out!"
The king was shaken by this miraculous deliverance. 3 men walked out of the furnace, completely unharmed. All the officials who had gathered around saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their head singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. So the king declared,
"Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel, and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God."
Despite witnessing God's power, Nebuchadnezzar's pride remained unshaken. Babylon reached its zenith under his rule.
Have I not transformed Babylon through my might?
A vivid and unsettling dream disturbed his sleep. A holy messenger decreed the tree's destruction. The tree embodied Nebuchadnezzar's reign, but a holy messenger decreed its destruction.
Cut down the tree. Strip its branches.
Nebuchadnezzar watched in horror.
Let its stump remain, bound with iron and bronze.
The dream ended, leaving Nebuchadnezzar trembling. A seed of doubt began to take root in Nebuchadnezzar's heart. His pride was challenged by the divine message. The once mighty king began to question his own greatness. He had a dream that troubled him deeply. In his dream, he saw a great tree that reached to the heavens. The tree provided shelter and food for all creatures. But then, a holy messenger came down from heaven. The messenger commanded that the tree be cut down. Only the stump and roots were to be left in the ground. Nebuchadnezzar was terrified and sought the meaning of the dream. He called upon Daniel, known for his wisdom and ability to interpret dreams. Daniel explained that the tree represented Nebuchadnezzar himself. His kingdom had grown strong and vast. But because of his pride, he would be humbled. He would be driven away from people and live like a wild animal. This would last until he acknowledged that the Most High is sovereign. Despite the warning, Nebuchadnezzar's heart remained proud. 1 year later, as he walked on the roof of his palace, he boasted,
Is not this the great Babylon I have built?
While the words were still on his lips, a voice from heaven declared his fate. He was driven away and ate grass like the ox. His body was drenched with the dew of heaven. His hair grew like the feathers of an eagle, his nails like the claws of a bird. But at the end of that time, he raised his eyes toward heaven. His sanity was restored, and he praised the Most High. He honored and glorified him who lives forever. His dominion is an eternal dominion. His kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the peoples of the earth are regarded as nothing. He does as he pleases with the powers of heaven and the peoples of the earth. No one can hold back his hand or say to him, "What have you done?" At the same time, his sanity was restored. His honor and splendor were returned to him. He was restored to his throne and became even greater than before. Now he praised and exalted the King of Heaven, for all his works are true, and his ways are just, and those who walk in pride, he is able to humble. Decades passed, and Belshazzar ignored the lessons of the past.
To the gods of Babylon.
Belshazzar mocked the sacred vessels from Jerusalem. The palace walls trembled at the sacrilege. Belshazzar lifted a golden goblet.
To the gods of Babylon.
A hand traced cryptic words on the wall. Panic seized Belshazzar. The wise men failed to decipher the inscription. The queen entered the hall. The inscription revealed a message of judgment. The kingdom of Babylon had fallen. Babylon had fallen, and Darius the Mede now ruled.
Daniel, your wisdom has survived the fall of kings.
Daniel continued to serve in Darius's court.
I appoint you to a high administrative position.
Daniel's rise ignited envy among the other officials.
O king, live forever. We propose a decree lasting for 30 days that no one in your entire kingdom may pray to any god or man except to you, O king. Anyone who violates this decree shall be thrown into the lion's den.
With honeyed words, the conspirators approached Darius. They proposed a decree, seemingly to bolster the king's image, but it was a trap for Daniel. Darius, his ego stroked, saw no harm in the decree. Blinded by self-importance, he failed to see the trap. The decree, etched in stone, was announced throughout the land. But to Daniel, this decree struck at the core of his being. For him, prayer was the lifeblood of his faith, the constant connection to God. Word of the decree reached Daniel, and yet, nothing in his routine changed. He knelt at his open window, facing Jerusalem, and prayed to God. It was a sight that filled his enemies with satisfaction. They had him now. They could barely contain their glee as they rushed to the king.
O king, have you not signed a decree that everyone who makes petition to any god or man within 30 days, except to you, shall be cast into the den of lions?
With a heavy heart, he ordered Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den, hoping for divine intervention. That night, the king fasted and couldn't sleep, anxiously waiting for dawn. At the first light of day, he rushed to the den and called out,
Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions?
To his immense relief, Daniel replied,
O king, live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king.
Overjoyed, King Darius ordered Daniel's release from the den. The king then commanded that the men who had falsely accused Daniel be thrown into the lion's den, along with their families. The lions overpowered them, leaving no doubt about their ferocity. In the wake of this miraculous deliverance, King Darius issued a new decree to his kingdom, declaring that everyone must revere the God of Daniel, acknowledging his eternal sovereignty and power. Thus, the faith and integrity of Daniel led to profound recognition of God's supreme authority throughout the land. And so, my friends, we come to the close of our journey through the first 6 chapters of Daniel. What a tapestry of faith, courage, and unwavering belief we've encountered. From the opulent palaces of Babylon to the depths of the lion's den, Daniel's story is not just an ancient narrative. It's a testament to the power of faith to navigate life's complexities. How will you allow Daniel's story to shape your life? Will you, like Daniel, stand firm in God's truth? The choice is yours. Comment down below if your choice is yes or no. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. May the God of Daniel be your strength and guide. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.